We are greatly honored today to have as our keynote speaker the prime mover of science and technology in the country, serving the country's scientific community in different capacities spanning more than 3 decades. He has ably brought us beyond boundaries and to where we are now. Let's put our hands together for the Secretary of the Department of Science and Technology, Professor Fortunato T.
Of course, we have with us many representatives from the academy, different universities, and also other relevant government agencies who took time from their busy schedules to be with us in this milestone event. Allow me first to express our appreciation to everyone for gracing this occasion. And in particular, I would like to thank our Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technology R&D, or PCIEERD, led by the newly appointed Director, Dr. Enrico Paringit. Tayo naman. For successfully setting up this event within a short time, especially since I'm aware that it's difficult to invite business people with a very short lead time. Okay? So, may I just request the staff of PCIEERD to rise? Tayo! Okay, thank you. The reason why I am saying that it is a milestone is because we at the Department of Science and Technology are hopeful that this event will give birth or rise to give birth to a local space industry in the Philippines. You may have seen from our program that we have with us presentations not only from the academy and from the research groups, but also from industry, particularly the Aerospace Industry Association of the Philippines. Mr. John Lee, maybe you should rise and I assure you that their presence in this forum is a very good indicator that the Philippines is gearing up for a space industry in the country. This space industry actually covers a very wide spectrum, and the aerospace industry is only a part of it. But we hope that this forum will give rise or will give us a glimpse of the scope of the space industry, as well as the business opportunities that it could offer to the local industry in partnership with our researchers. Of course, the potential beneficiaries also coming from our government agencies. We have other industries represented here in our forum today, as the opportunities actually covers a wide area. For example, semiconductor and electronics is included, and I can see Dr. Mena over there, and maybe some other representatives from the semiconductor and electronics industry. At this point, allow me to take you to a different kind of space travel, that is some historical background. So, bagay na po sa akin ngayon magbigay ng historical background. I can easily recall 50 years ago, I had my classmate there, Teta Ponce. You cannot deny. From UAP. UAP po ba? So, I will start by asking if any one of you, aside from Father McNamara, would know when the space activities started in the Philippines. Okay? Well, for the information of everyone, as early as the 19th century, there were already activities related to space, particularly with the establishment of the Manila Observatory in 1865. Okay? And of course, even if the Manila Observatory is still there, Pag-asa traces its roots also to the Manila Observatory. So we have our Pag-asa people here with us today. But the purpose at that time was basically to provide typhoon warnings. The 1960s saw the applications of space technology in communications, and this then gave a greater impetus for the use of space-based technologies in our daily activities. The 1970s ushered the use of satellite remote sensing, or RS. The technology revolutionized many activities like geological mapping, forest inventory, coral reef and marine studies, as well as land use and land cover mapping, among others. Some of you here are geodetic engineers, like Ber Santos there. I can still recall that geodetic engineering, like mining, had only a few students. Okay? Mining, hanggang ngayon, few pa rin. Pero ang geodetic, lumaki yan. Lumaki. And this is because of the new technologies, remote sensing, GIS, GPS, etc., that attracted more students and actually gave way for more professional or career opportunities. However, RS applications is slackened in the 1980s, and a large turnover of technical people was seen, but geographic information systems sprouted and diverged into a wide range of applications. Meteorological applications through improved capabilities for the reception of geostationary meteorological satellites, or GMS data, likewise advanced at this time. The 90s ushered the country into more active participation in space-related activities. The National Coordinating Committee for Remote Sensing was created in 1992 to coordinate activities that have something to do with remote sensing. The committee was later converted into the Committee on Space Technology Applications, or COSTA, of the Interagency Science and Technology Coordinating Council in 1995 and was known as the STCC COSTA. Okay? By coincidence, the meeting we came from today to come here was the STCC meeting, the Science and Technology Coordinating Council, which met today. Towards the end of the decade, the Philippines became involved with a collaborative research and development project with NASA on the use of air-SAR data for hazard monitoring and resource assessment. PBOLCS, Pag-asa, and the UP Diliman through the TCAGP, or the Training Center for Applied Geodesy and Photogrammetry, which is the home institution of our new executive director. He used to be the head of that center and that department. They were involved in the project, which aimed at using air-SAR data in hazard and resource mapping, as well as studying the relationship of insect-borne disease occurrence with vegetation cover of certain flora in some areas of the country. Okay? Now, the turn of the millennium, so marching into the 2000, saw an acceleration in the initiatives taken by the Philippines towards a more active participation in space-related endeavors. Linkages with international space organizations like the NASA and the Japan equivalent, the JAXA, not only became more evident, but were strengthened. And as you will hear later from the presentations, conduct of policy studies in addition to research and development were conducted. They were funded to be able to come up with policies related to the utilization of space technologies. And finally, the country's giant leap, the implementation of the Philippine Microsatellite Program, which was started by Secretary Mario Montejo, which gave us the country's first microsatellite. You have probably all heard about Diwata-1. For the information of everyone, approximately 2 years away from the expected disintegration of Diwata-1 in space, we expected a life of 18 months, we have successfully launched our second microsatellite, Diwata-2. And I'm glad that I was able to personally witness the launch of Diwata-2 last October 29 at the JAXA launching facility in Tanegashima Island in Japan. Ang malungkot lang doon, ang haba ng biyahe papunta doon sa Tanegashima Island, and we stayed only for a few hours, I think 3 hours only. To reach there, we have to take, of course, we took the plane from here, we took a boat ride, and then we took another ride, okay, within the island. It was a moment of pride, being a Filipino, and pride for our young scientists, and then yung ating mga scientists, sila Aris and company, and engineers who have made our dream of journey to space a reality. Two of them are here, as I mentioned, today to give a talk on their respective work in the field microsat project, and we hope that this will give insight to the business community of the business prospects as a result of these endeavors. I understand one of those who were involved, a young engineer at our Advanced Science and Technology Institute, will discuss his work on the country's first human satellite called Maya 1. Okay. Fast forward to January 2019, I am happy to announce to you that we have a bill awaiting second reading in the Senate. I will not give you details anymore because Director Eric Paringit will probably mention this in his presentation. And he will also discuss the policy infrastructure we have put up in relation to the bill. I just have to express my concern that because we lost many days because of the budget deliberations, it took some time. There are only 3 session days remaining for this Congress. If we are lucky, it will be passed because second reading, then third reading. And if there is no difference between the House and the Senate version, it will just be a paper by count. Otherwise, we might miss it again because only 3 days remaining. So let us pray. Okay, so that is the Philippine Space Act, Senate Bill 1983. It covers 6 development areas: national security and development, hazard management and climate studies, space research and development, space industry capacity building, education and awareness, and international cooperation. We at the Department of Science and Technology are happy to report that aside from the Field Microsat program, there are other space-related initiatives over the past years which are very much tied up with these developments. For example, for national security and development, we have funded the project Synthetic Aperture Radar with Automatic Ship Identification System, or AIS, for maritime surveillance and other applications. This is a new 5-year project which is implemented by our DOST, the Advanced Science and Technology Institute, and it is being done in cooperation with partners from different government agencies like the Department of National Defense and the Department of Agriculture, among many others. Under the Hazard Management and Climate Studies, we have expanded Project NOAA to cover more programs and projects on climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction. These are now in the hands of Pag-asa. Under these projects are the DREAM and the Field LiDAR programs. Okay, dyan sumikat si Dr. Paringit. We also have the Computing and Archiving Research Environment, or COARE project of DOST-STII, as well as the Philippine Earth Data Resource Observation Center, or PEDRO Center. This is the one that receives our remote sense images and then do some analysis and translates them into information that will be useful to our government agencies. To create awareness and to entice young people to pursue space-related careers, we have made use of various promotional channels through information and education campaigns, in social media, even hackathons and other types of competitions. I would like to mention the Kibo ABC Web Conference for the grade school level as part of JAXA Astronaut Asian Tri-Zero G 2018 and the recent live contact with a NASA astronaut from the International Space Station using an amateur radio experience for grade 11 and engineering students. However, given all this, we recognize that we still have a lot to develop in the coming years. Leveraging on the resources that we have acquired and the linkages that we have established over these past years, we try to address increasing demands for space technology applications and their use to benefit the different sectors of society in terms of the provision of products and services. This would include semiconductors, electronics, materials, the machining industries, tooling industries, in locally designed and built components like radios, attitude control units, and position sensors. Despite all this, we at DOST believe that we have only barely scratched the surface. We hope that the passage of the Philippine Space Act will help bring to life the Philippine Space Agency, which will help us maximize the resources, partnerships, and capabilities that we need, that we have to give, that we already have to give birth to an emerging space technology or space industry in the country. I remember one of the sentences I used in presenting the space technology program to the cabinet, which included the Philippine Space Agency proposal. I simply told them there are 10 ASEAN member states, 6 of them have space agencies. We belong to the 4 that do not have, and you know which are the other 3. Okay? For example, we look forward to developing and fabricating satellites locally. With what our experience from Diwata 1 and 2 and Maya 1 has been gained through our highly skilled researchers in the academy and in partnership with local industry. The target is we will have a Diwata 3 within this up to 2022 period. This is the current term from 2017 to 2022. So by the end of 2022, we should have the third Diwata 3 orbiting because we do not want to have any gap, no? Since the satellites have an unexpected life. Yun yung Diwata 1, expected to have 18 months, ay umiikot pa hanggang ngayon. Okay? After 2 years, 2.5 years. We look forward to developing satellite image products useful for hazard mitigation, for resource assessment and management, for agriculture, for land use planning, for environmental protection and management, for national security, and many others, and make this a business in itself. Business for the private sector. That is why we want to create an environment for collaboration, and this forum is just our first step. We have funded the establishment of certain laboratory infrastructures, which will be discussed later by our presenters, and we have spent millions in the education and training of our young scientists and engineers to develop them, to enable them to acquire knowledge and skills, to fabricate micro and nano satellites, as well as to gather and process data obtained from these satellites. We recognize that at DOST, we cannot do this alone, nor our experts in academia, but with the combined efforts, including our stakeholders from the business sector, we can make our country emerge as one of the spacefaring countries that will reap the benefits of the space technologies. I must share with you that I got a better appreciation of the program when I was asked to attend the graduation of our engineers in Hokkaido and in Tohoku. Okay, so I saw the laboratories where they were working. Finally, as we always do in our event, we call out to our friends from the media, okay, whose help we cannot do without spreading the word and making every sector of society see why we at DOST are doing this. I think I have missed something. Last Friday, January 6th, last Friday ba yun or the other Friday pa? Last Friday, January 25. Or was it, when did we welcome the first students of space engineering at the UP College of Engineering? Last Friday, January 25, we welcomed the first 8 DOST scholars to study space technology, space engineering courses at the UP College of Engineering. We have not opened a new master's degree program. It is operating under the MSEE program, but with a specialization in space engineering. Are some of them here, our new scholars of DOST, o meron silang klase? Wala sila dito. Okay? There were 8. I remember they are coming from different agencies. I remember there are 2 from the Philippine Navy, both women. There is one from the National Institute of Physics. There is one from the Microsoft program, and there were other students from Ateneo de Zamboanga, okay, from FEU, LaSalle, okay, then pa ba nakalimutan? Sa UP Engineering, wala yata. Yun lang taga Microsoft. No? Anyway, so these first 8 are one class, okay? And we want to see them finish the program. They are full-time scholars, meaning to say they will not be working, just concentrating on their master's program. And hopefully we can have more in the succeeding opening of school year. And this is part of the overall human resource development program. We are still supporting our scholars in Japan, Hokkaido, Tohoku, Kyushu, and maybe some more will be going there. Okay? Meron pa? Oh, tapos na. Russia, sabi ni Yusek there. We are sending some scholars in Russia. Finally, as I said, we call to our friends in media to help us, and especially in helping us reach the ultimate beneficiaries of all these efforts, the Filipino people. I hope that through this event we can build a robust industry that will make us reap and enjoy the benefits of space-related technologies. Again, I thank you all for coming. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Good afternoon to everyone.